What's going on, people of the world? Nicky P here. It's been a minute since I posted the video. Of course, I have my dad here, Bill Rockefeller. Couple things need to brought attention because it's annoying as fuck, and I don't know what else to say about it. But it's just one of the things that's brought to attention. So I'll try to recap of what's been going on. If some of you that haven't watched my previous videos, you can go to my channel and see the previous videos of the circumstances of bullshit that I've been going through and he's been going through and my son's been going through, who doesn't deserve any of this. But anywho, those of you who've watched my videos know that in the past 3 weeks, she ended up putting in a child abuse, sexual abuse claim on him, which is the dumbest shit I've ever heard in my life. It's the most stupidest thing I've ever heard. And the fact that she can't do it to me anymore, she's going to try to move her way up the chain and do everything she can to keep me away from my son. Which entitles, like I said before, this is a recap, which entitles that he's the person who watches my son when I'm working. So he's not allowed around him by himself until further notice, which they're doing investigation.
Yeah.
So that puts a damper on that. So which means that it's cutting my days of the week that I normally get down to 2 days or 3. Well, 2.5.
2. Yeah.
Well, it depends on which week it is. But it's cutting majorly into my time with my child because of these bullshit claims. Not to mention the fact that I also had to take my son down there to talk to Vicky, who is the social children's services worker, and she had to have another talk with him, but they're supposed to be doing the further investigation with everything because it's all bullshit. And those of you who know me and my father know it's bullshit. She's just trying to fish for any fucking reason she can to get what the fuck she wants, and she's not going to get it. So granted, with that being said, as some of you may know, or not, I don't know if I said this, but she is currently staying at a shelter with my children. The stepdaughter, who I do not see anymore, she doesn't come over. I only see her when I pick up my son. And like I said, that's been cut to, I've already missed 2 weeks because I had court and shit. And now that last week I actually had him, I only had him for one fucking day, which is stupid. So then I'm supposed to give him tomorrow, and I only get him for 2 days, and then I have to take him back because until the investigation is finished, I don't have him like I should. So that was the recap of that. So now that being said, this said person who decided that they're trying everything in their power to make it seem like I'm the bad guy and he's the bad guy, that we done bad things, which we haven't, is now who stayed at this shelter, who can't find housing supposedly in Maysville nor anywhere in Kentucky.
Yeah.
Because it's a joke. But yet has inheritance money that comes in, also gets child support for 2 children, who can't seem to find a place to live, who, to me, it sounds like she's making excuses. So is now the new update on this is that she is trying to, which most of you may know from before, she is trying to move to Ohio. And granted, with the custody agreement, like I've said before, because I had to go to the court to talk to the judge and I didn't file properly, neither did she, that the court has to review the move or the custody or whatever, and which the judge done said they would decline it because there's no good reason to take the kid out of state, because by the Commonwealth of Kentucky, the agreement we had through the dissolution, he's supposed to remain in Commonwealth of Kentucky and she's supposed to remain in the state. If she wants to move, that's one thing. I don't give a fuck. But my son's staying here. She's not going to take my son from me because there's no good reason to take my son from me. Because you're incapable of taking care of your son, who you stayed in a shelter for, months on top of months because you chose not to move. That's your fault. Not to mention that she also tries to act like my son and my stepdaughter have all these problems with like mental health and everything when they don't. She tries to play it off like my son has all these medical problems. He's 3 years old and he literally is a boy. There's nothing that he's doing that is any kind of alarming in any way, shape, or form. When he's with us, he's perfectly fine. And he's told us numerous times, and he's told me, and he said it in general public, that he would prefer to stay with us than rather stay with his mother.
Yep.
For multiple reasons, anywhere from just not wanting to be there. He also told me that mommy hits him. And he also told me that mommy doesn't have good food, so he doesn't eat there. He eats here fine. He has no problem.
Yep.
But
No
yet when
problem
he's
here.
with her, it seems like it's always an issue with something. Or he comes back covered in bruises, which I have pictures of. And he hates going there, but he loves coming here. And she's now trying to, like I said before, she tried to send me a paper through... she just signed some paper and had someone not get it notarized, but had someone to witness her sign. Yes, she had someone witness her signing it, but she didn't get it notarized. And she sent it to me in the mail, stating of her relocation. Which it wasn't. You gotta get it notarized. Plus, they have to run it through the courts, and of course, I'm not going
to state seal.
Yeah, and I'm not gonna prove. I'm not gonna prove of said move. My son deserves to stay in the state which he's in. His mother is unstable, and everyone knows this.
Yeah.
This is a common thing with everyone. I've never done anything to my child, nor have I done anything to my stepdaughter, my older son. I've never done anything to her. He lived with us the whole fucking time. Knows for a fact that she's crazy as shit. And she fucking acts like she can't do anything. And I was the one that was busting my ass on a daily basis. Carrying on, had to work my job, then come home, then cook, clean, do whatever else I had to do, take care of the kids while she sat on her ass. I busted my ass to take care of and raise a family of fucking 5 while she sat around did nothing. It was a common thing, and I don't know why the fuck I did it, but I did it. And I basically think I did it because of my children. That was probably the only reason I did it. And now because of me being the person I am and being a loving and caring father, I lost one of my children because I don't get to have my stepdaughter anymore who wants to be me. And I'm dad. I've been dad from day one. So now she's trying to file a court order without legal representation, which is going to be reviewed because she stated on there that and once again, this is stuff that she sends me on this app close thing that we have, that she's trying to move to Ohio to Ripley because it's beneficial to her children's educational benefits. Let me go ahead and point out, because clearly people like her think that, I don't know, I really can't give you an ideal way she thinks because I don't fucking know. I just know of the stupidity that spews from her that I've dealt with on a yearly basis for 3 years and then still dealing with it now. That a 3-year-old who just turned 3 last year, who turns 4 in September, granted school doesn't start until August, September anyway, who's 4, who's not potty trained and all that, is not old enough to go to school yet. He probably should wait until, the following year, because Head Start, regardless of any kind of Head Start or anything, I don't think he needs Head Start myself. He is a very bright child. Even, people that talk to him, he is really smart. And I'm telling you right now, not toot my own horn, but he does not get it from his mother. Yeah. He is a very smart child. He's very bright. He knows everything, and when he tells you something, he doesn't lie. The only time he ever lied is this past time because his mother told him it was okay to lie with what happened with him.
Yep.
And just like with me, she tries to claim that I abused him and shit, and he knows I didn't. And she tried to go on a rampage about saying that the pull-ups I buy for him are too tight, when I know for a fact they're not.
No.
And Bryden is just...
They're loose.
Bryden is a kid, and he doesn't understand his mother is crazy. And when you're a kid growing up, you want to listen to your parents, and you want to, behave, and you want to, your parents tell you something. Your parents are supposed to be people that you trust when they tell you something that it's true. And that's what his dilemma is, because his mother is batshit fucking crazy. It doesn't help him. because it's mentally straining him and stressing him out because she cannot function by herself, and yet she's trying to raise 2 children. And the whole time that all this has been going on, she chose not to do anything, to not get a job. She chose to sit on her ass all the time. She chose to be lazy, basically get paid to sit around, do nothing. And then now, because she got an apartment, I guess, in Ripley that she applied for and they actually were okay with it, she thinks she's just going to pick up and go. I hate to tell you, because I know more than likely you or your family member probably watches my video. It ain't going to fucking happen. I'm not going to allow my son to go out of state with someone who's not mentally stable, let alone to take him out of state and make a bullshit excuses that you think the court's going to believe you. You put in three EPOs on me that actually went to court.
4.
Well, it's 3, but 4 went.
We didn't
4
know,
altogether.
though. The 4th one we didn't know.
3 EPOs that actually went to court, and every time they went to court, there was no evidence because nothing fucking happened. Not to mention that you did domestic abuse. You did trying to say child abuse and all sorts of stuff, and I cooperated and done everything I did.
Yeah.
And everyone who knows me knows that I'm not that kind of guy. Just like him, he's not that kind of person. We don't do that. You're
Never have.
the
never
monster in this situation. The fact that you're trying to, in every way, shape, or form, to benefit yourself, let alone your children. You don't care about them. You care about yourself. And just like my older son, DeMarcus, I sat there and have been in multiple conversations with her about my older son. And I don't really talk about my older son that much because it's hard to talk about my older son because I haven't seen him for a year because of her lies. So
Yeah.
I witnessed, and he did, her physically abusing this child. To the point that I had to fucking get into an argument with her about it.
Yep.
And to the point that he was terrified of her. And I've literally multiple times had to have like arguments over my older son because her 2 kids that were biologically hers were treated like nothing was wrong. Everything was fine. But then Marcus was treated like shit. And the fact that Marcus's mother believed someone as maniacal and fucking insane and psychotic as my younger kid's mom is beyond me. I don't know why. I don't understand why the fuck you think you believe this person, yet you don't know them. The only thing I could think of is there's a common enemy, which is me. And in your guys' best interest, because you guys are who you are, that you guys have a common enemy that you want to hurt me in any way, shape, or form you can. So,
That's the way it looks.
with that being said, she's trying to go to court to move, and her excuses are because of educational purposes and the fact that she couldn't find housing in Kentucky, like I said. So, right there off the bat, those are terrible excuses. You can't find housing in Kentucky because, 1, you're not trying. That's just straight up forward. Excuse me. 2, you used to live in apartments, and you left them apartments shitty when you left. That was your fault. Granted, you can live anywhere in Kentucky, but you have to remain in Kentucky. And I have the nagging suspicion that the reason why she wants to move to Ohio, because it's not because of educational purposes for her children, nor is it anything else, is that she thinks that she's going to take my kids away from me and move to Ohio and try to get them to go to Ohio school because she wants a medical marijuana card. I know it. He knows it.
Yep.
We know it. We lived with her.
Mm-hmm.
That's all she fucking talked about. She used to be a druggie. Granted, clearly she still is in some point of way. But the point is that there's a difference between using something for, medicinal purposes as of having like cancer or glaucoma or arthritis or, beneficial diseases that require that than just being flat out fucking lazy because you don't do shit. And then now for the fact that the whole time we were together, she did not once, like I said before, and I'm going to say it again. I know this is probably a broken record. She did not attempt to get a job except for one time. And the one time she got a job, she worked halfway through the day and she cried to me in the car, said she couldn't do it.
Yeah.
And now she's got a job supposedly somewhere and whatever else. But yet, did she report it to the Children's Services for child support or anything like that or whatever fuck? No, she didn't. I've worked at the same place I report all my shit. I'm paying child support to her to take care of my child, but yet she's not reporting anything. And now you think in your mind, regardless how fucking fucked up your brain is of who you are as a person, you think that you're going to take a kid out of a state from his father who never done anything wrong. You have no plausible cause to take him because I don't do drugs. I'm not an alcoholic. I'm not abusive. I'm probably one of the nicest fucking people besides this fucker that you could ever meet. And the fact that you're trying to put bullshit claims on us just means that you're digging your hole deeper for yourself. Because they're just going to look at it and be like, well, why would I want to do that if Mr. Ferris has nothing going on? He hasn't done anything wrong. Every time and she's stupid because they're going to review these cases of me paying for a divorce lawyer, her getting Commonwealth Kentucky, and of a power of attorney, like what's that? I can't remember what it's called. The ones, legal aid. She got legal aid because she didn't have money. I paid out of pocket to get my lawyer to get divorce finalized. She didn't even do it. I did it. I went for divorce. I got it done. I paid the cost, went to court, had to wait the whole time of bullshit of a year. Is your butt getting sore? I'm sorry.
No, fine.
I'm talking about his butt. But anyway, I did all these things to get this shit situated because I know the kind of person she was, and I was trying to get past that point in my life. I wanted to move on. But yet, she doesn't get the concept because regardless of everything that went on, she's still fucking nagging about everything for 5 seconds. Never ends, never fails. And I know I'm carrying on and he's in the picture, but he's going to say his piece in a second. But now you're trying to convince a court of Kentucky where you filed 4 EPOs on me and all of them got dismissed. I filed 2, but mine didn't even get dismissed. Mine didn't even make it out of the fucking gate. Okay? Mine's were written and true statements about everything, how she was, and they said there wasn't enough evidence, and they denied me. I was denied straight out of the Ion Center. I did 2, and it was months between them. She did 4. I didn't even know she did 4. I knew she did 3.
Yeah.
And there was a 4th one that randomly didn't even go through.
We need 3.
To the point that the judge now told her and me. I know why he told me, because he doesn't want to single her out. But the point is that the judge told her and me that if we file another EPO and go to court for an EPO, that he is going to suggest taking the child away from us and discussing it with Children's Services. Granted, like I said, I've been dealing with Children's Services the whole time to the point that the worker who's been working the cases for all the claims of whatever knows me. Like, I've never thought in my time that a worker of Children's Services would know me personally because of the bullshit claims of someone else. And
well, even law enforcement knows.
Yeah, it doesn't make sense to me.
I
never thought in my life that I would ever have cops and sheriff and legal people of the government or the judicial system or anything like that know me personally. Because I never in my mind thought that I would go through that route and have to ever do that. But then that tells you the kind of stuff you deal with on a regular basis.
Yep.
And now you're trying to move out of state because it benefits you, not your children. And granted, not to mention the fact that I have a recording, which I recorded and I still have it, not to mention multiple videos, and I have testimonies from people that were at work that seen her there. She came to my work trying to find me, and she's clearly unstable to the point that she literally harasses me on a regular basis. And it's not ending, regardless of the court order. And she's trying to move out of state to benefit herself. And that shows you the kind of person she is, because she doesn't care about her children in general. And this person who was giving me rights, wanted to give up her rights to me, all because of a boyfriend who didn't want the kids around. To the point that in December I had to pick him up because the boyfriend got hostile with her in front of the children, broke shit. And the cops were there. And the cops told me about it. And they told me to pick up the kids. And I had the kids for a month.
Yeah, we just took them back.
And I was protecting my children. And she tried to play the card that I kidnapped them.
Yeah.
And everyone who was her friends on Facebook that pretended to be like they believed her, doesn't even know me. She got caught in a lie because she told them that the cops didn't know where I was or blah blah blah, and they knew where I was and they knew where the kids was, but the cops didn't knew that I was protecting them from her and the violent individual.
Yep.
So all that with this court order that you're trying to file, which, like I said, I'm going to file for a court day anyway here soon. It might cut into my days with my son, but, I'm going to do what I got to do to get my son permanently. I want to get him all the time. I think he deserves to be with me because I'm more mentally stable and I don't have a record or nothing. I am a great dad.
Yep.
It don't matter if they're my kids or not. I love family. My children are my top priority, and even like younger family members, like my cousin's son Bodie, like I love that kid as if he's my own, because he's around the same age as my son, and I've never once been abusive to any of my children, and the fact that someone's trying to flip bullshit
Been abusive to no children.
and like it's sickening to me that this person can do all this shit, and I understand what they're doing with the judicial system and all this stuff because they're doing their job, but then they're trying to the fact that they believe someone like that, and she has a past record of petty theft, and she's got all this shit, like she used to be a druggie and she was in the nut ward, and there was a bunch of other shit in the concept, not to mention she was involved in a bunch of other things in Ohio. And the fact that you think you're going to come to my basically hometown or home state of Kentucky and think you're going to throw me under the bus and they're going to believe you, that's pretty sad. Because people that know me and people that know me on a regular basis, and anyone I ever worked with, anyone who knows me as a family or went to school with me or friends or anything, I'm not that kind of person. And I don't know what you're benefiting from this, but it's not going to go the way in which you think. And I was willing to let my son be with his mother because of the situation. Like I said before, there was multiple times that, I could have took my kid or fought for my kid to keep them away from their mothers because their moms either didn't give a shit or they weren't fit to be a parent. But with me being who I am and me caring as much as I do, and I lost my mom at a young age, I wanted my kids to have their mother. I want them to see the person that they are. I want them to realize, if they don't want to be around her or whatever, and I want them to have the benefit of having a mom because I lost my mom at 12. And no kid needs to grow up without either parent. So I wanted them to have the opportunity of have both parents, but then clearly for the mom side, on both sides of both of my biological children, they determined that it's their best interest to basically mentally and physically fuck my children up to the point that they try to make up lies, or they won't let their own son see their dad who actually gives a fuck, who cares about him more than anything in the world, and who raised him from day one. Even though we split up, I've always raised him. I've been there from day one, and I'm dad. And he knows I'm dad, and he doesn't understand the situation. So he doesn't get it. And you're that kind of person that would make someone go through that. Especially being someone whose dad wasn't really in their life that much growing up, dad didn't give a shit. That's another thing with my ex-wife. Her dad was around, but with divorce and stuff, most parents, it's hard to get one or the other because of the situation, and it's hard for everybody, and it affects the children sometimes more. But then why would you want your kids to go through that when the father actually makes time for the kids, wants to spend time with the kids, wants to be there for the children, wants to go to every little school thing, wants them to grow up with them, wants to teach them how to be the best person they can be, and you want to try to rip that from them and take it? It's pretty sick. So with that being said, I'm going to fight this as much as I can. I just wanted to give you guys an update of everything. Is there anything you want to add?
You said it all.
And the fact that with this whole situation with Bryden and him, where, these bullshit claims and whatever. Bryden came here, and I don't know about you, but if someone was assaulted they would have a different aspect on somebody. I don't care what your age is. If you're getting whooped or some shit, you don't want to be around that person, or you try not to. You can tell.
Yep.
Like, example, with my ex-wife, with my older son, like, he got treated like a redhead stepchild after Bryden was born. Loved him to death when we first got together, but then, like, after that, after she had Bryden, it seemed like Marcus got pushed to the back burner. And then Marcus got treated like shit, to the point that she whooped him. And like I said, I jumped her ass about it. I told her, I said, you don't whoop him for every little fucking thing. I don't understand why he's getting in trouble for something he doesn't do. And I've numerous times, and
I used to have to come out of my bedroom.
He contested this. He lived with us. He knows everything.
Crying his eyes out.
She tries to pull this, the ex-wife tries to pull this whole, oh, well, he's got cancer. He's not in his right mind. He's going senile. All this other bullshit.
My mind's fine.
There's nothing wrong with him. Mm-hmm. He had cancer, yes.
Yeah,
and
I got it.
Doing chemotherapy changed stuff, but it didn't make him any less sharp than what he was.
Right.
Granted, he's 60-some years old.
Yeah, I'll be 64 at the end of this month.
I'm 30 and I forget shit. So he forgets shit. He's twice my age.
It happens.
So
that's life.
You can't try to throw someone's medical history into the mix with something that's saying that he can't take care of a child, or trying to say that he abused him, because that's just fucking sad. Because the point is that, like with Bryden, I was told numerous times, so was he, that mom hit him. And I heard that even his grandmother and his grandmother's partner, I guess, I don't know what you would call her.
Yeah, partner.
They call her Nana, but that's Nana. The grandmother and Nana, when they watched him, used to whoop him for every little fucking thing. He is 3 years old and he's a boy. He's meant to learn right from wrong, but you're not supposed to use the negative aspect to enforce it. You're supposed to use positivity. I've never whooped my kids. I think the only time that I've ever had to do anything is I said something to him, and that was it. I think Marcus one time I can't remember, I think he punched me in the face, and I tapped him on the leg, and I told him no. But other than that, that was the only thing. And I've never had whoop my kids, because I was never whooped as a child. There's a difference between letting the kid know you're serious, then just abusing them is one thing, compared to like teaching them right from wrong. And that's what Rachel did. I said it, I don't care. My ex-wife did to my older son, which is fucking sad. He's an autistic child, and every time he came over, he was afraid to be there.
His night to come over.
He was afraid to be there because of her. And I've numerous times, and he heard us arguing about him, to the point that this person thinks that I'm the abusive one. And I've never done a damn thing. And his mother believed this fucking person, which is just even more sickening to me. Because someone who knew you for 10 years, you were in a relationship with someone for 10 years, and even if before 10 years, you knew me in school and knew that I wasn't that person, I never got violent, never did anything, and you're going to choose someone you don't fucking know over someone else just because we're not together and it's petty? Yep. That's a little sad.
That happened.
And you're just hurting your children. Because there's there's dads out there that actually give a shit. Now, granted, imagine if you got a dad, like said, my stepdaughter's father, biological father, who, when was told that she was pregnant with his daughter, he went hostile on her, got pissed off. 1. 2, once he found out that he was the biological father, didn't want his family to know about her. Period. Was willing to sign over rights to me because I was dad from square one. Yep. And didn't give a fuck. Now, would you rather have a kid that growing up with a father that did that? No. Do you fucking say anything to him? No. But yet you guys are always trying to introduce your kids to these asshole people. But yet the people who actually are good in the world don't get to see their kids because of bullshit circumstances, because you think you're benefiting anyone, and it doesn't benefit anyone but yourself.
Yep.
You're hurting the child. Now, my stepdaughter, who only knew me as dad, is basically going to be raised without a father figure that gives a shit. The one that she was raised from day one until she was 4 years old. Now she does not no longer have in her life, because of the mother's dumbass decision to remove said person from her life, who was willing to take rights and raise these children right when you were trying to figure out your life with a fucking boyfriend from your past who didn't give a shit about you, who didn't care about your children. Right there, that's a red flag. If you're going to be with somebody, regardless an ex-boyfriend or a new boyfriend or anything, they should give a fuck about your kids. Your kids matter first. That should always be the priority. And the fact that that was something that came up multiple times shouldn't even fucking mattered. You should have just sent his ass back packing. I mean, I'm sorry. That's the truth. And to the point now that you're going to start seeing that if you're trying to take your kid away from, like, granted, my older son, I haven't seen him in a year. So who knows what mentally this is messing him up, because he's already autistic and it's hard enough as it is. But then now you're keeping the one person who was there his whole life away from him, and yet all you got to do is sign a paper stating paternity, and then we could share custody. And you would have him and I would have him. But yet you're trying to hurt him you're hurting him by hurting me, which is dumb. And I'm not a millionaire. Like I've said before, I've said this in multiple videos. Everyone knows if I was a millionaire, because if I was a millionaire, I wouldn't be here. I would be living better. I'd be taking care of business, and I already have my son. But the point is I don't have the money to do so. And I don't like handouts. So it's very hard to try to do something and get your kid back when you got to pay thousands of dollars to pay someone to basically go to a courtroom and say, well, this person deserves to be in his life. He should be a 50-50 because of a hospital's mistake of not putting me on the birth certificate. That's not my fault. That is their fault. We told them to put me on the birth certificate. They still didn't, and their bullshit excuse was that because we weren't married, I wasn't allowed on the birth certificate. Now, everyone else I've talked to who's had kids around that time, or anybody else in that general nature, said that that's not true because they'll put the father on there. They've put the father on there. Well, now that kind of makes me think, who was the one that said not to put me on there? Because why would you give a kid someone's last name and then not put the father's on the birth certificate? It's a little suspicious to me. Yeah. But yeah. And with that being said, I just kind of wanted to touch base on this because, like I said, I'm not going to let this go. I'm going to go to court. I'm going to go down to the courthouse and I'm going to file, and I'm going to keep fighting the good fight and get shit situated, because I really think that my son's mother is an unstable person to have him around, because she only concerns about herself and not the well-being of her child. I've never had any other thing on my mind besides the well-being and the safety of my child, and even my stepchild and my older son. I worry about them all the time. Lately here, I've been worried about my older son because I haven't seen him, and I want to see him. And not to mention the fact that his grandmother sent me a friend request on Facebook, which was fucking weird. Out of nowhere. It's been a whole year, and I get a friend request from the grandmother. And then I didn't know what to do with it, so I just left it. And then she withdrew the friend request. So that was a little suspicious to me. I don't know why that happened, but like I said, I don't have a reason to talk to these people, because these people are the reason why I haven't seen my son. Because of someone who is mentally and physically unstable to be a mother and have children decided to have bullshit claims on me of child abuse. And it was found to be false. Right there, when it was found to be false, should have been an indicator that she's lying. But yet you chose to keep him away from me out of your own selfish need to control the situation, because you had the upper hand. Because within this whole time, not once have you filed for child support. So that would have gave me rights. So you chose not to file child support because you knew that would give me rights and I would have my kid. Because there's nothing against me that you have that would cause an issue for me not to have my child. So, yeah, I think that's about the short and skinny of it. Wanted to go ahead and come on here and give you guys an update on what's going on. Like I said, it's a never-ending story, so to speak, with everything and the life of Nicky P. And, featuring Bill Rocky Ferris, because he's included. And he doesn't talk much, obviously. So, he's here. I wanted him to be on the video just to contest to some things and say his mind. I want him to talk. What do you guys think? You want to say?
No, I'm good.
Go ahead. There's something you got to say.
I don't got anything to say.
Free range. Say whatever you got to say.
I'm fine.
But I think, in general, the closing note is that you're hurting your children. I think that's stupid. Like, I'd understand if you were trying to move to another state or trying to move away or take your kids somewhere else when the father is unfit or the mother is unfit, but there's no reason to do so. And housing isn't a reason, because you can easily get a job and get a trailer, and you have family here. Your family doesn't even want you to live with them. That's sad. When me and him had nowhere to go and we were trying to find a place, we stayed with my aunt, which is his sister. The oldest of his sister's younger than him, yeah, is my Aunt Peg. And we stayed with her for a couple months, and that shows you right there, like, who cares and who don't. And the fact that your own family won't even let you stay at their house because of your bullshit, that's sad. So they chose to get away from that bullshit with your lifestyle because of what you chose to do, because you got with someone who didn't give a fuck about your kids, was more focused on, would rather be with you than be with the kids, but you are too blind to see that. And it sickens me because, like I said, there's been numerous times that you were going to sign over rights to me. You gave me birth certificates, you gave me social security cards, then you gave me clothes, you gave me this, you gave me that. Then you wanted to see them when you wanted, but on your terms. And then you even gave me a power of attorney over my stepdaughter, who's your biological daughter, and because she was going to be in my care. And you were undecisive if you even wanted to be a mom anymore. Never once in my life have I ever looked at something and be like, you know what, I don't want to be a dad. I've never said that. Dad was always the one thing that I always would have enjoyed. I've never had a problem with it. And to the point that I almost had another kid with ex-wife. But it didn't make it. I still call that my kid. I had 4 kids. I have their names tattooed right there on my hand.
Yep.
And granted, I'm happy that the other child didn't have to witness this shit. Especially being the age they would have been. Because they would have been a year younger than Bryden. And that would have been 1 or 2 now.
2.
That's sad. Living in a shelter with children. That's sickening. And it's because of you. It's your fault. You dug this. You dug this hole, this, so to speak, hole that you've dug. And you think everyone's supposed to feel sorry for you when you did this shit. Posting on Facebook that I kidnapped them. Posting on there to say, call this number if you see this child. And you knew exactly where he was. But you still played that off. Not to mention the fact that regardless after all this shit, and when I post these videos about stuff to talk about my personal going throughs that has nothing to do with anything, it's just talking about what I'm going through, and people that actually give a shit about me watch my videos and watch with me and him and give a shit about us. And it's a way for us to, an outlet of discussion because, that's what it is. It helps. And you determine that you're going to try to sabotage everything.
Yep.
You comment on my videos saying that all it's bullshit and this and that I have pictures of it. You erased 2 of my videos that I had off the bat, off my videos, off my computer at the old house.
And I caught you.
And he caught you. And you try to play it off like you didn't. And when I called you out on it, you played off like you didn't. And even your sister said that you did it. She told me that she told you not to do it, and you did it anyway. Cat's out of the fucking bag, innit? So, and then taking pictures of stuff that I drew, which was sad.
Which I saw too.
Yeah, he caught you in the act of doing it. You caused multiple harassments over the time. that was dealt with. It never ended. To the point that I had to call the cops all the time. To the cops knew what you were doing there, and you had no reason to start shit. I was moving on. You were stuck in the past, but yet you were trying to fucking rekindle some bullshit that was never there anymore because you didn't have nothing to do or no one gave a fuck about you. And the point when you got stuck in that point of life where you had no one else to go to, you went back to an ex who was an abusive asshole and an alcoholic. That was dumb. The point that you would claim that on people like me and him, that we were alcoholics or he was an alcoholic and angry, drunk, and all this other claims, and then turn around that this dude that you were with was exactly what you tried to pin on two other people, it's fucking karma. I hate to say it. Karma's a bitch. But you chose that upon yourself. And I don't wish harm on anybody, but like, why would you want to be with someone who's that negative in your life, especially around your children? Your children's safety should be your main concern.
Definitely.
And you went to the extent of even, like I said, you went to the extent of trying to get me in trouble for multiple things. Granted, to me, the legal way was the way to go. It's always that way. It was dealing with it, whatever. But then after you couldn't get to me because of all the bullshit and they finally told you can't do it no more, you decided to try to attack my family, let alone my dad. My dad is the only parent I have left, and you try to attack him by putting bullshit claims on it. And that's also why I don't want any of my other family involved in any of it. Especially, like, I could have someone to watch Bryden if I wanted to, on the days that I work, but I don't want to put nobody through that. And the only person I would trust would be my aunt. And I don't want her getting abuse claims or fucking child abuse claims or all this other shit now, because that's what she'll shoot for.
Yeah.
That just keeps him away from me longer. The whole time this has been going on, through the whole divorce, through everything else, your main goal was to keep my kid away from me because you chose to do that. You lied and said that you were threatened for your life when I never once threatened you. You lied and said because I had a gun, you felt threatened. I never once said anything about a gun. Regardless, the gun...
You didn't have a gun.
The gun was his gun. I gave it to him. It was my gun, but I gave it to him as a gift. It was a gift, and it was his.
It was always locked up and trigger guard.
And you went to the extent of saying that I was harassing you, that I was...
stuff to get into
You felt threatened for your life, but yet I've never once tried to find you or anything like that. I was doing the legal way of getting my son back because that's how it's supposed to be.
Yep.
Because technically what you did was kidnapping. So... you were breaking it. And then now after we have this agreement, you're still breaking the court order. And now you're wanting to go to court to try to give them some bullshit speech about your excuse to move out of state, which they're probably not going to give you, more than likely, because there's no good reason. Because you not being able to find a place to live is not a good reason for them to send a kid across the state line to go to another state. That makes no sense. That doesn't make any sense at all. You're trying to run away from your problems because you have major fucking mental problems and you got to figure it the fuck out. But you don't need to drag your kids down in the process. Mm-hmm. Those kids are going to be... it's bad enough that they're going to have to deal with you the rest of their life. Good. I feel sorry for them because they deserve way better than that. They don't deserve all the shit they're going through. And this video's carrying on, so I'm going to try to close it. Sorry, I had a lot of shit to say because it's very stressful. I've been going through this for over a year now. It's never ending. And normally you just fucking go about your ways and do whatever. But yet it seems like every time there's always something else that she's trying to do. It's never just, what's best interest for the child. Granted, you moved to Kentucky 4 years ago, almost 5 years ago, to get away from all the druggies and all the abusers and everything from where you lived, and you wanted a better life for your daughter who wasn't born yet. And you came and lived up here, and then you met me. And now you're trying to move back across to Ohio, which makes no fucking sense. Because, granted, I know for a fact that there's housing in Flemingsburg. There's multiple apartment places you can get. There's also housing in Maysville. There's like 3 or 4 different places. And there's also Brooksville, Augusta.
Yeah.
There's numerous places in Kentucky that you could go.
Lot.
Ewing. There's everywhere in the general area. There's multiple places. So there's no bullshit excuse. And especially the fact that you're a low-income family and you have 2 children, you could easily get in a fucking apartment like that. Yep. Nothing will stop you.
Yep.
and you're low income based, you have child support, you have kids, and you're working a job, right there you would get a place to live because you were technically homeless. But you choose not to try. I know you didn't try because I know exactly what your trying looks like. Your trying is, oh well, that's your trying. You don't give a fuck. You don't care.
We've been through it.
Yeah, we've lived.
Before we got this place.
When you have children, especially at a young age, and having two kids from
what's out there,
from a boy and a girl, they will basically right there give you a 3-bedroom right off fucking bat. And you get child support from both parents of your children. So that right there is money. Then you get inheritance money every so often, which is also money. And then you're working. And the child care thing, because you try to claim that it's a beneficial thing for child care, it's not anyone else's fault but your own that your family doesn't want to watch your kids for you because they're tired of your shit. You burn bridges and then expect to cross them, which is stupid. And then you just fall down and expect everything to be all hunky-dory. No one wants to deal with you. That's what it is. But I'm going to go ahead and get off here. I appreciate anybody that watches this long a video. I know it's been a while, and I just wanted to make a video because there's a lot of shit going on. Sorry in advance. But anybody who watches my videos, if you aren't subscribed, please do so. I'd very much appreciate it. All you got to do is have a account and hit that little subscribe button. I'm not going to beg. Please. But it would help me out. And then watching my videos also does wonders. So if you have anybody who likes reality TV dramas, I would suggest to show them the saga of the life of Nicky P, because it's quite entertaining. Not for me. I just think it's bullshit. But it's quite entertaining for the people that like to watch like soap operas like Young and Reckless or any other things like that. And Jerry Springer, because we don't have that anymore. And this is real life. And it also makes it beneficial, too, because if you know the person that's going through it, you're like, oh, I know that guy. So, it's like, and then getting recognized by people, people tell you that you watch your videos, it's kind of surprising. You're like, oh, you do? You're like, I need to start asking people what their favorite video is. But I know there's so many that it's kind of hard to. But I need to do a game video, too. I'm carrying on. I'm sorry. But anyway, this is Nicky P. I'm going to sign off. Love, peace, chicken grease to you all. And like I said before, if you aren't subscribed, please do so. Hit that subscribe button. Don't forget to hit the like button, that little thumbs up thing. Yeah, that guy, like Chuck Norris says. That'll, I very much appreciate it. And be on the lookout for more to come. And I don't know, just be prepared for more bullshit, because that's what my life is confessed of, bullshit. Usually it's bad, never good. I mean, if good shit was going on, like if stuff was going my way or stuff was going a certain way that looks to benefit, like, oh, you're looking up, looking to the positivity. Usually that's when shit gets sour. That's usually when the shit falls in the shitter. That's like putting it in the blender, lighting it up, and then pouring it out and stepping on it. But if it goes good, shit's about to hit the fan, so to speak. So, I'm glad that my life and everything I go through can be entertainment for those who, and educational purposes for people that are going through the same stuff, such as everything else. To learn that they're not alone in the world, that, because when I was doing it, I felt very, I guess you can say
alone,
distant, yeah, because of everything going on. I didn't know really how to cope with it, because you don't really go up to somebody like, hey, you divorced? You don't know how to talk to them. And plus, with being in the world that we're in, guys are meant to be, it's like when you show, emotions or anything, it some people think as weakness, and that's not the case.
No.
But I just wanted, it helps me. This is an outlet for me to express my feelings and everything else that I have, especially with everything going on, because I also do gaming videos, and I love doing gaming videos. But it seems like my gaming videos are not, it's very hard to pick gaming when everything that's going on, in a way, plus having anxiety and everything of bullshit that's going on, makes it very hard to do the things that you love, especially when the main thing that you love is your children, and you can't even be around them half the time because of someone's bullshit, lies. But, you know, it just take it one day at a time. But I'm going to go get off here. I'm rolling on 50 minutes, so sorry. I am so sorry. I'm a talker. But love, peace, chicken grease to you all. This is Nicky P, Bill Rocky Ferris. You want to do a closing statement or anything?
No. It is what it is.
He's not a talker. I hate to tell you. He tries. Sometimes. Oh, update on his thing. He's supposed to be going to get a CT scan to see how his cancer is doing.
June 2nd.
And we'll see from there if the spots
on the 7th.
The spots shrunk, but then we're going to see if they got bigger. And if they got bigger, then I guess
we'll go from there.
See what's going on. He's still alive, as you can tell. There's no weekend at Bernie's kind of thing going on, having them marionette kind of bouncing around. Yeah. but, you know, everything's going as good as it can. Just taking one day at a time, one step at a time, so to speak. And, you know, yeah. But if you haven't watched my video, I think it's in this corner. Yeah. Down here, one of the corners. But either way, one of the corners has my channel. You want to go check my channel out. That way you can subscribe. If not, the other one has my last video that I posted. Make sure you go through. And like I said, it's basically like a mini series, so to speak. If it was on Netflix, I'd probably be getting paid right now.
It's a video book that's going on.
It's a vlog. So to speak.
Whatever.
They call it a vlog, okay. Which is like a video log kind of vlog.
Vlog. What's just that vlog?
Well, they have the word vlog and blog, and it's different. But anyway, sorry. We'll carry on. But thanks for watching my video, taking the time out of your very busy day to watch me ramble on about random shit that's on my mind.
This is the place for it.
More content coming soon. Hopefully happy-go-lucky stuff. But until then, love, peace, chicken grease to you all, and I will let you go. Later.
Bye.